My name is Alex Master Kyriakis, and I am here part of ESPN, Endangered Species Public News. And today, we are going to discuss the topic of ecosystems affected by oil spills.
Hello? Oh, yes, hi. Yes, I can do my best to answer them. Yes, microorganisms were affected by the oil spill. More plankton exist in seawater than any other organism. Because they gather energy from the sun, plankton are the basis of the food chain in the ocean. An example of a microorganism found in the Gulf was zooplankton. The zooplankton were reported as being contaminated with oil. Since the zooplankton were contaminated with oil, this affects the food chain because as other organisms feed on the zooplankton, the oil is being passed up the food chain. Baby fish and shrimp feed on zooplankton, which then leads to contamination within the larger sea creatures in the ocean. A lot of organisms were affected by the oil spill. Around 39 marine species are at a high risk of extinction. About 53 found in the area of the oil spill are classified as endangered. The animals that were affected the most were the Atlantic bluefin tuna, the sperm whale, the Kemp Ridley sea turtle, and the brown pelican. The sperm whale is a rare species to begin with, so once the oil spill occurred, other scientists were saying that if 3 of these whales get killed by the oil, it could push the population over the edge. The oil in the water could choke, drown, and poison these species. Sperm whales have to come to the surface to breathe, so when they come up for some air, they very easily could suck in oil slick that sits on top of the water. The sperm whales could also die from breathing in the toxic fumes the oil produces. The Atlantic bluefin tuna migrate to the Gulf every year from January to June to breed. The oil spill occurred on April 20th, which was right in the middle of the breeding season. Also, the spill was located in the region that the tuna prefer to breed in. These fish were already facing extinction from overfishing, so it really harmed them when the oil spill happened. Finally, the Kemp Ridley is one of the 5 types of sea turtles located in the Gulf. This turtle is the most threatened by the oil spill. It nests in the Gulf, it is susceptible to eating oil-contaminated fish, and will also swallow the oil when it breaks the surface to breathe fresh air. Although the brown pelican does not live in the water, the effects of the oil spill are still the same. The brown pelican dives into the water to catch food to eat, but the fish in the water are contaminated with oil, so when the pelican eats the fish, the pelican is now contaminated. Also, the brown pelican can die from very little oil because once the oil gets on its feathers, it allows water to enter their body. This stops their ability to regulate their body temperature, so they die from hypothermia. When the oil sticks to the pelican's feathers, it restricts them from flying. Experts usually find an animal in the ocean or on the shore that they see needs help. They then take it back to the rescue center to see what damage has been done to the animal. For example, the brown pelican would be given several baths to get all of the oil out of its feathers. The animal is kept for at least a month until it is nursed back to health and then released back into the ocean or on the shore. Oil spills affect the ecosystem in many different ways. It kills thousands of organisms that live in the area of the spill and also affects the breeding of many of those organisms as well. Most of the marine life that died from the Gulf oil spill was killed by being suffocated from oil, choked, and poisoned. There are really no positive effects towards the ecosystem. Yes, emergency restoration projects are helping the wildlife. Kemp's Ridley Sea Turtle Emergency Restoration Plan had a goal to help prevent the sea turtles from dying by locating nesting turtles on Texas beaches, collecting and protecting turtle eggs, and releasing hatchlings back into the Gulf of Mexico. This plan was successfully completed in 2011. If you have the time and effort to actually go there, then you could volunteer and help with the cleanup. But if you don't physically go there, you can easily donate money to a local organization. Either way, you are still helping out somehow. You are very welcome. Just call me back if you need any more answers.
Hello? Oh yeah, I did that research you wanted me to do, Mr. Kariakis. Alright, offshore drilling refers to the exploration and exploitation of marine mineral resources, primarily petroleum and natural gas on the continental shelf, but extending onto the continental slope and continental rise as new technologies are developed to support deep drilling. Alright? When you ask what is being extracted, it's petroleum, and it's a complex mixture of hydrocarbons, and it's the primary fuel of our modern civilization. The process of oil drilling begins with finding the oil or natural gas on the bottom of the seafloor, which is typically done through prospect mapping using geophysical surveys and results from other wells. The objective is to find a geological structure called a trap, where the oil or gas has accumulated and can be extracted and used in the modern world. Once the subsurface structure or trap has been identified, a series of exploratory wells are drilled to determine whether oil or gas is present in the economic quantities. If so, a series of developing wells are drilled to remove the petroleum. The three basic types of equipment used for offshore oil drilling include a drill ship with drilling equipment mounted on its deck that can be advanced through an opening in its hull. Anchors, often driven into the sea bottom, allow the drill ship to maintain its position. And more sophisticated systems, such as a series of powerful computers, control thruster engines mounted on the ship to stay on station over the borehole. Once the location for an offshore oil or natural gas well has been identified, a more permanent drilling platform is constructed. Usually installed on fixed legs, platforms are very large steel structures with a deck extending just above the waterline. The deck rests on a complicated series of large diameter pipes, welded together and extended to the sea floor. Once the well is drilled to desired depth, the oil or gas is delivered into the subsea pipeline. Many of these pipelines are hundreds of miles long and connect to the platforms to a refinery or distribution center. Drilling rigs include floating ships operating in water less than 100 feet. In deeper waters, mobile rigs are often used, which are towed to the site and then sunk. Most of these drilling platforms resting on the seafloor are called jack-up rigs, since they are jacked up above the sea surface, along with the drilling rig and supporting equipment. Semi-submersible rigs are coming into increase in the deeper waters. The submerged structure stabilizes the platform by minimizing the effects of wind and wave action on the rig. Many different types of rigs are used for oil drilling in the marine environment, especially since petroleum extraction operations have moved into ever deeper water. Anytime you need any science answers, just call me. Bye, and you're welcome. See you.
There are many acts that were passed in order to keep America's waters clean. One of the more notable ones is the Clean Water Act. What the Clean Water Act does is it makes sure that businesses are held responsible for however they pollute America's waters. Like with the BP oil spill, BP would be held responsible for cleaning up the oil and paying for the damages that the oil has done to the environment. Congress thought this would be a good bill to pass because without it, businesses would just keep polluting the water with no penalties put on them. So there's also the Oil Pollution Act, which deals with oil companies and their offshore drilling and land drilling. Yeah, the Oil Pollution Act is very similar to the Clean Water Act, except for the fact that it emphasizes on how oil and oil companies should be monitored a little bit more strictly than just your average businesses. Congress thought it was a good idea to pass the Oil Pollution Act, or the OPA, because after the Exxon Valdez oil spill in the early 1990s, it caused a lot of damage to water ecosystems, and Congress did not want to have something so destructive happen again. Yes, businesses are still held responsible, even if it was an accident, or they didn't even know they were polluting the environment. According to Congress, they don't care. Polluting the environment is polluting the environment. all businesses are still held responsible. You can consider the Oil Pollution Act successful in stopping pollution. A lot less oil spills have been occurring recently, and until the BP oil spill, there hasn't been a major oil spill since the Exxon Valdez oil spill in the 1990s. Some of the organizations that have volunteered to help clean up the Gulf of Mexico would be the World Wildlife Fund, or the WWF, and the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, otherwise known as PETA, and many other humanitarian and environmental organizations have also chipped in and helped clean up the Gulf. Now, the organizations are doing a great job in the Gulf, and in fact, to this day, they're still down there cleaning up both the animals and the environment, and oil is still arriving on the shore, and they're going to be there for a while cleaning up.
Passed out in your interview. He's fine.
What is your opinion on oil spills?
He's dead. I don't like oil spills. I think they're bad for the environment, and it would be good for us if we eliminated them.
What is your opinion on oil spills?
Oil spills are very bad for the environment, and they're killing off many species, which could potentially lead to extinction.
How is oil bad for animals?
I like turtles. It's bad for the animals.
What is your opinion on oil spills?
I mean, oil spills are bad as well. They kill a lot of wildlife, destroying cities and killing humans.
What is your opinion on oil spills?
You know, they're bad. Oil spills, they spill oil into places. They're bad as yeah.
What is your opinion on oil spills?
Well, I think oil spills are really bad because where are we going to get our water from if it's all oily?
What is your opinion on oil spills?
Oil spills are very bad for water life and habits, and they can lead to extinction if they continue to happen.
I would just like to know what your opinion is on oil spills.
I think they're really bad because it hurts the environment, and oil is very precious to us. It's a gift from God, and I don't think we should be going around wasting it.